She looks perfect, charming, intelligent, deeply empathetic. The kind of woman who seems to truly understand you in ways no one else ever has. She listens with genuine concern, offers advice that feels thoughtful, and makes you feel seen in a way that touches your core. Friends admire her, your family adores her. She appears to be everything you ever thought you wanted in a partner. But fast forward 6 months, you're not the same man who first fell for her. Instead, you're sitting in your car outside your own apartment, afraid to walk inside. You've started questioning your memory, doubting your judgment, wondering if you're slowly going insane. You feel guilty for things you can't even remember doing wrong. You're exhausted from walking on invisible emotional landmines that seem to explode without warning. Somewhere along the line, you became a stranger to yourself, and you can't figure out how it happened. What you've stumbled into isn't love. It isn't intimacy. It's something psychologists call the shadow, an unconscious darkness that some people carry inside them like an invisible virus. They infect everyone close to them with unresolved psychological toxicity. These women don't look dangerous. They don't announce their dysfunction with flashing neon signs. They operate below the surface, using weapons you can't see to fight battles you never agreed to join. And here's the brutal truth. The most dangerous people in your life won't be the ones who scream at you, hit you, or openly mistreat you. The most destructive ones are the ones who seem deeply caring, sensitive, and loving on the outside, while quietly transferring their unresolved chaos into your mind. They make you believe you're helping them heal, when in reality, they're making you sick. This transfer is invisible. It hides behind what looks like intimacy. She shares her deepest fears, her childhood wounds, her darkest struggles. You feel honored to be trusted with such vulnerability. But she's not sharing for connection. She's downloading for relief. And every download shifts her emotional burden onto your shoulders. Suddenly, you're carrying her anxiety, her depression, her triggers, her instability. Slowly, her inner chaos becomes your outer reality. The most dangerous part, you become complicit in your own destruction. You believe you're being supportive. You tell yourself this is what a good man does. You convince yourself that love means sacrifice, all while enabling her to avoid responsibility for her own healing. You get addicted to feeling needed while she gets addicted to being rescued. And that's when projection takes over. Projection is the unconscious weapon where she dumps everything she cannot accept about herself onto you, and then reacts to you as if those qualities are yours. Suddenly, you're selfish, you're emotionally unavailable, you're controlling. None of it is real. She's describing her own flaws, but now they're painted on you. This creates a psychological trap that destroys your sense of self. You're never relating to her as you. You're always relating to her distorted image of you. Every conversation becomes a battle about who you are instead of what actually happened. And the more you defend yourself, the more you confirm her accusations. Your frustration becomes proof of your anger issues. Your exhaustion becomes evidence of your emotional withdrawal. Your attempts to explain become gaslighting. Soon, you start questioning your own reality. You begin doubting your own memories, your own character, your own worth. And here's the cruel twist. She convinces you that you're the problem while systematically draining the life out of you. The most sophisticated form of this manipulation when she presents as a victim while secretly operating as a predator. She shares her traumas, her struggles, her pain in a way that hooks your protective instincts. You feel compelled to save her, to be her rock, to give her the security she never had. But her victimhood isn't about healing. It's tactical. Every boundary you set becomes abandonment. Every request for accountability becomes cruelty. Every criticism becomes persecution. At first, you see fragility. Later, you see ruthless psychological warfare. The victim becomes the prosecutor. The helpless becomes the handler. And suddenly, the woman you thought you were saving is now on the attack. And somehow you're the villain in her story. Some of these women operate like emotional parasites. They don't want partnership. They want a host. someone who can feed their dysfunction endlessly. They present themselves as broken souls who just need enough love to heal, and you believe you can be that man. You invest your time, your money, your energy, your soul into helping her. But she never gets better, because getting better would end the parasitic cycle she depends on. No matter how much you give, it's never enough. And here's the truth most men refuse to face. She doesn't actually want to heal. Healing would mean losing her power over you. So she stays broken on purpose while draining you dry. Others wear masks. In public, she's sweet, caring, thoughtful, admired. Everyone praises her, but behind closed doors, she's controlling, manipulative, and cruel. That duality creates psychological chaos inside you. Because when you try to explain what she's really like, no one believes you. To the world, she's a saint. To you, she's a tyrant. This leaves you isolated, questioning your sanity, because everyone else thinks you're the lucky one. Then there are the chaos generators. These women can't tolerate peace. Calm feels threatening because their inner world is chaos, and it has to spill outward. So they manufacture crises, turn molehills into mountains, create drama out of thin air. You're constantly firefighting, constantly managing disasters. You think you're building intimacy, but in reality, you're just trapped in an endless cycle of intensity mistaken for love. Some systematically erode your boundaries. At first, it's small, showing up unannounced, snooping through your phone, demanding constant access. Each violation is wrapped in the excuse of love. But over time, your life stops being your own. Your time, your energy, your choices all bend to her needs. And if you dare to set boundaries, she calls you selfish, distant, or unloving. And then there are the gaslighters. They rewrite reality so effectively that you start believing their lies over your own memory. They deny what happened, twist conversations, and convince you that your perceptions are wrong. Over time, you stop trusting your own mind and rely on her version of events. That dependency is the ultimate goal, because once you stop trusting yourself, you're hers to control completely. Others take it further. The emotional terrorists. These women weaponize your emotional investment. They threaten to leave, to hurt themselves, to destroy your reputation if you don't comply. The threats don't even need to be spoken out loud. You simply learn the pattern. If you don't bend, there will be hell to pay. And then there's the identity thief. Slowly, piece by piece, she strips away everything that makes you you. Friends she doesn't like, hobbies she doesn't understand, dreams she feels threatened by, all chipped away under the guise of love, until one day, you wake up and realize you don't recognize the man in the mirror anymore. You've been reshaped into someone who exists only to serve her needs. The most dangerous part of all of this is the trauma bond. It's the invisible glue that keeps men trapped in these relationships long after they know it's toxic. The cycle of chaos and relief becomes addictive. The high of reconciliation feels like love, but it's not. It's chemical dependency. The unpredictability of when you'll receive affection keeps you hooked, just like a gambler chasing the next win. And when you finally think you'll leave, the fear of losing her feels unbearable. You don't realize it's not love holding you there, it's psychological addiction. Here's the hardest truth to swallow. Most of these women aren't consciously evil. They're not plotting in the shadows like movie villains. They're unconscious. They're running on unhealed wounds, unresolved trauma, and shadows they refuse to face. But unconsciousness doesn't make them less dangerous. In fact, it makes them more dangerous. Because you can't reason with it, you can't fix it, and you can't love it into health. That's where most men destroy themselves. Believing they can save her, believing their love will be the cure. Believing sacrifice is proof of strength, but you cannot heal someone who refuses to take responsibility for their own healing. You cannot sacrifice yourself to save someone determined to stay broken. The truth is, real love doesn't feel like this. Real love doesn't drain you. It doesn't make you question your sanity. It doesn't demand you lose yourself to keep it alive. Healthy women don't need you to shrink so they can feel big. They don't sabotage your growth. They don't feed on your empathy like fuel. Real love builds you up. It supports your growth. It creates security, not anxiety. Intimacy, not chaos. Partnership, not parasitism. The way to protect yourself is by trusting your instincts when things feel off. By respecting your own boundaries even when someone tries to guilt you into breaking them. By recognizing that speed, intensity, and chaos are not signs of deep connection, they're warnings. And by remembering the most important truth of all, you cannot rescue someone who doesn't want to be rescued. If any of this feels familiar, you already know the cost. Years of confusion, years of walking on eggshells, years of watching yourself disappear piece by piece. But the moment you see the pattern, the spell begins to break. You are not crazy, you are not weak, you are not the problem. You're simply waking up to the reality that some people's love ain't love at all. It's a cage built from manipulation, projection, and fear. The choice is yours. Keep playing her game, or walk away and reclaim yourself, because true care doesn't break you down, it builds you up. And real love never asks you to lose yourself to keep it alive.